Okay, we're just going over the parts and pieces again. So our trim rail, I know you can't really see it too good. This is the longest piece of the system, which is 66 inches, which makes it nice. Like say, if you're stocking your stuff in your truck, you can keep multiple jobs, don't have to go back to your distributor. We'll go over parts and pieces now. This is our trim rail attachment, as you can see here. Everything comes kids in packs of 10, just like with our SM, which is real nice. And if you notice the design of these boxes, they're kind of a pizza box style, so that way they don't slide off your roof as easily. This front piece, our trim rail attachment, sits on a 3-inch slider, so it gives you the north-south adjustability. So when you're lining this up, you don't have to be precise. So when you lag this down and you run a string line across the front of this is how you get this system straight. And what's nice, because this piece is structural, it's not attached. I'm talking about the trim rail right here. Is it almost it starts as a good base for you. It keeps your system nice and straight. From here we have our sliders right here. These comes in packs of 10 as well. This gives you 6 inches of north-south adjustability. These will be used above your trim rail. So anywhere else that you're gonna put these things, it's substituting like your L foot or your flat lock foot. From there we have our micro rail, as you see here. What's nice about this will attach to your slider. Just like so, it clicks on, it'll slide down onto your panel. And when you're ready, you'll just click it down to your panel size. This will fit any module from the 32 millimeter up to 50 millimeter. Click again. Oh, you want to click again? What's nice about this is once you slide it onto your paddle edge, you click it down and then you'll tighten this bolt. One thing I forgot to mention is this entire system is installed with one tool, which is a 1/4-inch hex head bit. From here, when you're joining two panels, you're going to use this right here. This is our floating splice. This also clicks down, as you can see, like so. This will click down and it'll bond two panels to where they meet. One thing that we have is when you're joining two the trim rails, this is our internal splice. You'll slide this down one trim rail, the other one will come in here. And once you hit the center of these, you know your attachment. For your trim, we have the trim rail attachment. I mean the trim clip. And so if you see here, they're marked from 40 millimeter, 35, and then also 38 to 33. And I made a mistake before, so this fits any sort of residential modules, which is 32 to 40, not 50, so I apologize. This is our north-south bonding clip, which will go between your rows, north-south, so this takes away the need for copper. And if you're using, when you're using your end phase, this is our MLP mount. So it'll slide onto your mount, onto your MLP, and this will actually be attached to the return flange of your panel. So your wire management is a little bit different than you would with SM. So you're actually going to use these things, which is a Hako clip, which will actually attach to the return flange of your panel as well. And you'll tuck your wires in, and you'll do all your wire management as you go. What's nice about this system is because you're doing your wire management and everything is attached to the return flange of the panel, it's just kind of a plug and play. So you're gonna lay a panel down, run your wires to your next inverter, and pop them in. So by the time you get to the top of your roof, you know you're done and everything's wired up the way it needs to be. And that's our SFM. Oh, you want to get motion sickness.
Is there any questions there?
Can you hear us this line?
Yep, you're all good.
All right, cool. All right, so now we're going to go over our RM5 on our RM5 or with our RM series, which is flat beam product. This is our RM5, which is a south-facing 5-degree. Stamped metal base, which have a G235 stamped steel. So it's a marine grade steel, so you can set it, next to the ocean without any degradation because the galvanization has on it. As you can see here, where our module is laying on the base, you can see you're going to slide these units, which come in packs of 20. They're kind of like the little fender washers. If you see here, I bet you can see it very well. This is going to slide over the holes you have in these bays, and these are actually threaded. Slide them over the holes you're going to use. You're going to use these clips, and on these clips, you see that's marked 46 to 50, or on the other side, it's 41 to 45. So it's actually going to attach and thread, just like so to these. Now these U-nuts are actually just for single use. They're very effective. The reason we didn't thread the bay is if you cross-thread a bay, then the whole bay would be ruined. If you cross-thread one of these, you just pop it off and get another U-nut. Now over here, we have our RMDT, which is the east-west system. We have a valley bay, a ridge bay. It's actually going to sit in like this, and when they camp down, it's going to come and it's going to kind of look like a skyline in front of this. It's a really beautiful system. Over here to our right, we have our RM10, which is one of our best sellers. It's been in the industry for a while. Let's see here. So it's just, this is an aluminum strut bay material. So it's got the strut profile. It looks kind of like steam. It's nice. It's very, very small steam. So you got the bay, the clip, which is totally purpose. So as long as the module has a return flange, it can be used on any module. It's a 10-degree operation system, and then just really, really easy to use. So if you're getting ready to do a project, you could send it forward to our first service team, and they'll get you connected with all the right materials, stuff like that. If you need training, you get a hold of a distributor. We can send one people like myself out, which is an ISS, a sales specialist, and we can walk you through the whole process, do it for the 30 days, make sure you start right. One thing we're going to go through here, which is at our feet, is our new Raleigh, which is getting ready to launch this summer. So this is going to be a European grid type system, which is really, really nice because it's going to be and then you can see it's real sleek, not a lot of stuff sticking out, everything's going to sit under your bay. The best about this is once you install your panel and you go to rock it down, the site your clips, you're going to plug all your wires in, do your wire wrench, and you go. Everything will be nice off the deck, so you're not going to have any problems with inspections. You're going to sit in the picture, and it's going to be real light. All right, from there, we're going outside.
Hey guys, on the RM10 real quick, what is the inner row spacing?
Your inner spacing from 19 inches. So from here to the module sit, it's going to be 19 inches. Did you hear that okay?
Yeah, I think you said 19 inches, right?
Yes, sir. And then east-west for module spacing, we recommend at least a 1/4 inch gap or a 1/2 inch gap, depending on the undulations you have in your roofs. When I talk about undulations, it's going to be waves in your roof. If no roof is perfectly flat, so the wider space you have, if you have the space, I recommend the 1/2 inch. So that way, with the modules kind of tilting a little bit, there's not going to be hitting each other. The reason you need that is to need thermal expansion. In the hot months, your modules are going to expand and going to touching.
And the 5-degree tilt is the same 19-inch gap?
No. So 5 degree, I apologize. With the row spacing, I'm going to point this out real quick. Get down here. We have these tabs. So with these, you can do a 7.5 inch row spacing or an 11 inch row spacing. This is the tab here. That's 7.5 inches. Or from here to here, it's an 11 inch. So it has two different types of row spacing, which makes this real versatile. So if you have a lot of constraints on your roof, you could actually vary rows. So go 7.5 to 11, you can fit a lot more modules. Any other questions?
What was the name of the very last system that you showed us?
So that's going to be our Raleigh. That's going to launch this summer, and it's a brand new system. It hasn't really launched yet. We're going through all the testing, our wind tunnel testing. That's one thing you can appreciate about Unirac is we go through every testing process.
Yeah, that's the product that's teased on our website with the wind tunnel video. So that's the new one, right? So it's coming. It's not ready yet, but it's coming.
Cool. And I just see that coming out. When is that going to be launching exactly?
Q3, Q4. We're like Matt said, we still got a bunch of details to go through there, right? Especially with the 716 and all the new stuff, right? So yes, it is not ready yet. That's basically the only prototype. Wanted to just show everybody a little teaser there, but yes.
And are they attached with like an OMG flashing kind of thing, or how are they attached?
No.
Well, so all of the RM stuff, the 5, the 10, the dual tilt, yes, can be attached with an OMG type thing with kind of a spreader bar to attach the bay. We're also working on kind of a dual bay attachment to try to maximize that. And then Raleigh right now tentatively will use something similar. But there might also be something else. Can't get too far there yet.
All right, head outside.
All right, don't get dizzy. Well, you guys want to see RM10 fab cell real quick?
Have at it.
Let's go check it out. So in Albuquerque, we actually manufacture a good amount of stuff, specifically RM10, right? So we have a couple manufacturing locations, Albuquerque being the most. I won't get terribly into it, but you guys can check it out a little bit because we are here. You can see the assembly, the staking of the rails, working their way around, and then they're packing it up over there, ready to head out. And they're pretty damn good at it. This cell is actually running full pace right now.
Yes.
All right. Are we recording this in case you trip and fall for a bloopers reel?
You betcha.
Perfect. That's this is the Viridian product. I wasn't going to show everybody, but that's our roof integrated system right there that we have out here playing with, working on the certifications to get that fully ready to go, hit the market. All right, so there's GFT. The first thing you'll notice on GFT is we have it on giant concrete ballast blocks. By no means is that the standard. It is an option. These are precast ones, but again, not the standard. So yeah, this is a very, very installer friendly ground mount, whereas a lot of the other stuff is not so much, right? And when I say installer distributor friendly, what I mean is this is in stock, this is standard, and this is available, right? So our lead times are in days and not in weeks and months. CED, Christian, they have this ready to go for anybody that's interested in it. It's just a matter of ship it. And then if they need it from us, we ship it within a week and away it goes, right? Matt will talk about a bunch of the features on it, but again, to make it very installer friendly, we talked a lot about standard parts and very simple and easy, right? So the whole system, if you were to look at a BOM for this, there's 5 parts. There's the pile, there's the diagonal, there's the top cord, there's the east-west beams. It uses standard solar mount clips, so it's all very easy, very, very standard to use. And Matt can take it or add more.
All right, so we're actually going to go through this. We're actually doing an install. Like Chris said, don't pay attention to this. The main things you can do with this is it's going to be cast in place with concrete or pile driven. So the lengths they come in are 12.5 feet and 15 feet. And so these you can see here that these C channels are actually facing west. So the opening here is actually going to be facing west. This is very important. If you face it the other way, you have to take it back out, which is a pain, and redo it. And so this would be like Switch said, this is driven in place. You come up here with your diagonal braces. And these diagonal braces already come mounted on this plate for you, so that way there's no assembly on that part. And you see these different hole packs up and down. That's just going to show you how versed this system is. So this is already pile driven in place. You come up, you hold your diagonal braces up. You're going to see whatever your hole packs you're going to use are going to be in your engineering report. So it's very important to pay attention to this. So you hold this up, you install it this way. I don't have a piece right here, but all these on the back side have a serrated flange nut. So if you get it hand tight, you don't have to have a tool to back it up, which makes it very easy to install. So you'd install these cross braces like here, and then you'll have your top cord, which you're going to assemble. So your whole pack again is going to be, as you can see right here, the bolt will go through that. You'll attach that. And on the system, you're just going to hand tighten it for now, which is very important because you don't want to start tightening anything too much because this thing has 2% play. So if you're off a little bit, you'll be able to have wiggle room but if you tighten everything, it's going to kind of, your wiggle room is going to go away.
The other thing, just to help with perspective, is typically the front edge is a 2-foot leading edge height, right? So Matt, if this was a real install, Matt would be standing basically where that concrete block top is, right? Yep. So it's not that high, right? The back edge is like 7 feet high and the front's 2 foot, and away you go, right? It varies a little bit with 20 and 30 degree tilt, but you're not on a ladder all the time like it looks like right now.
Yeah, so please don't pay attention to that.
What's the max span? East and west.
So we don't have a max east-west, right? It varies, and we vary the span and the pile dimensions based on the loading criteria and the geo of the site specific, right? The east-west rails that you see here, these aluminum beams, they can be a continuous run, and they're structural, right? So there's an internal splice bar that's in there, and you can run it to the max array dimension of 2 by 30, right? So at 2 by 30, you have to do a structural, a thermal splice. But other than that, you can go wherever you want, right? And then we vary the pile spacing based on snow and wind and tilt and geo and stuff like that.
Any other questions on that one?
That's it for right now.
All right. So let's continue with the installation of it. Pardon me? I think they cut out.
We still got you guys.
Okay, sweet. Did you have another question?
Nope, you're all good.
Okay. So the installation of the top board, you're going to find your whole pack you're going to go into. It's just going to take a single one. You'll attach your diagonal braces to your top board. Get that nice and set. And then once you install your next pile, you're going to install, when your east-west beams, you're going to install your lower one. You're going to find what your cantilever is. You're going to measure that out. You're going to tighten that one all the way. So it doesn't move on you. You're going to get your correct spacing east-west between your piles. Pardon me, I'm stuttering. And then you're going to go to your top your top east-west run. You're going to leave that loose. You're going to measure 4 feet in on both. Take a tape measure, and like if anybody's ever done framing, you're going to measure it diagonally. Once you have that same spacing, you know you're square. You'll go ahead and tighten your top east-west run. And whether you're doing a shared rail, which like you see here, or a 4 rail, you're going to run a string line between your top and bottom. You're going to butt those up, and then you know you're square. The reason you need to be a square because if you're using our Pro Series, it needs to be, you can have a 1/2 inch tolerance either way, and it'll still attach. But you want to be as flush as possible, and plus it looks better at the end of your install if everything's flush. And then you'll go ahead and insert the rest of your east-west beams, and then then you're ready for paneling.
For your east-west beams, what lengths do they come in?
I think that's
166 and 246. So 14 and 20 feet. And like I said, they're structural. So using different lengths doesn't necessarily provide better strength. It just saves splices, perhaps, right? And because of that structural nature of it, when we do the designs here, you will get a layout plan that on your pieces here, it'll say 65 inches of drop. And then in instances, you will use that elsewhere, right? To minimize the amount of garbage that you have.
That's nice because you can pre-cut all your stuff because it's in your layout. So you can kind of get ahead of the game on that one. And then wire management, we'll go kind of over wire management. You can use Hako clips for small runs. We do have a spade clip, which I apologize since I couldn't find. So for your bigger runs, you'd attach it to the beam here and go ahead and run your home runs with those clips. Now we've also seen people tap into the east-west runs, which doesn't win any warranties. So as long as you're not cutting into it, you'll be fine. You can use quarter by 20 hardware, whatever you need, like conduit strap, stuff like that. And any sort of wire management that your electrician wants to use to make it easier for you. Any questions on wire management? Any more questions on GFT?
No, we had one question come in, but I can field it for you guys. I think you addressed this earlier. Said, can this system be mounted in the ground or is it just ballast blocked? I believe you said earlier that it's supposed to be pile driven into the ground and you really shouldn't be using ballast blocks.
In our engineering reports, it shows you that you can use pour ballast trays for this. And so it'll go over a step-by-step instructions on how to do that. But it's mainly the cast in place, which you'll auger a 24-inch hole, 6 feet deep. You'll set those in place. I always recommend, if you're going to do that, to attach your diagonal braces, because then you could fold those down from moving at all, and then you could actually take a 2x4, run it between your piles, and it'll keep it from moving, because it's obviously gonna have to set and cure before you could go ahead and install.
And just to get into that more, ballast is an option. Typically, ballast does not look like this.
No, it wouldn't be.
You would form up a piece of concrete, rebar, away you go, right? And then high strength grout the pile in. That is nowhere near the standard, the most common. The most common is pile driven. So the piles actually come in two different lengths, 12.5 or 15. Typically, the 12.5 is the cast in place that Matt was talking about. Typically, the 15 is the pile driven. So by far, right, where this is used most, it is a pile driven system, right? This next most common is auger cast in place, and then very, very third is ballast, right?
And a lot of people say, if you don't want to deal with concrete, there are people in every region that do kind of like the dummy work. They'll subcontract out a pile driver. And what's nice about being a pile driver, as soon as this thing's pile driven, you can start installing on it. And I mean, it's really hard to keep up in the machine. You can pay somebody, they'll drive all these piles for you, and you can start installing right away. Any questions on GFT or any of our products?
Well, I would say any questions on GFT, and then we can go back inside and see if there's any other questions.
Yeah, no, I think we're good on GFT.
Okay, cool.
Are there any other additional like to see? Because it's basically free time now.
So we had a question come in about the solar block product. I'm not sure if that's referring to Solar Stack or if Solar Block's its own separate thing.
Yes, so we can go show that. It's on the far side of the roof, actually. I mean, long story short there, this product is exclusively for Florida currently. That's where it was built, that's where it was developed. That is where we have. So, just to give you guys a little picture here, that's what we have installed here, right? I don't know how much more we need to get into it, because unless you're calling from Florida.
Yeah. And we're still going through rigorous testing, because even when we bring a product on board, we test it to the max, wind load, internal testing. So even though it is on our website, like Chris said, it's strictly just for Florida now, and it's going to go through all the testing. So once all that's done, we'll definitely send something out and let you know when it's available. Yeah. But
there are a number of Florida installers on here, so it's worth going over a little bit.
Okay. So like, this is actually a Florida made product. We found them at SPI. We kind of brought them on board. As you can see here, this isn't really possible, because what you would do is you actually cut. If you take the stack, you'd see where your panels are going to go. You draw your grid out, and you would actually cut where this is going to go, and you use a spray foam down in there, and you set that so it's not going to slide on you. After about 15 or 30 minutes, you can go ahead and start laying the modules out. It's very important that you make sure that you have a fully adhered underlayment. Just because you get that board because of your winds, but if you're here in New Mexico, a lot of people will nail the underlayment down, and that wouldn't work, because this is based on your glue working. It would be fully adhered, so that way when the wind pulls up, it's not gonna, the glue's gonna hold, but if your underlayment isn't adhered, it's gonna lift up and it's gonna blow up your roof. So those are just some things you want to pay attention to. It's really easy to use. If you're in Florida, maybe you could also, it's been installed in Florida for quite a few years now. You can definitely use it. So if you need any info on that, just get a hold of us and we can get you that info as soon as possible. Any questions?
So the Solar Stack product is only meant to be used with a tile roof, correct?
Yes. Where we've seen it used also in Florida is for flat roof, which the guy designed it for. And so, like I said, if it's a fully adhered membrane, you clean your surface. Having a clean surface is very, very important. If you have any dirt or anything like that, it's going to mess with the glue. So you can go ahead and you chop your grid lines out where your panels are going to go. You make your T's where your junctions are, so where this is going to land, where it's going to share for the panels. And you go ahead and I would recommend like marking an extra. If you mark something go, you're going to spray your foam down. You're going to set it in there, wait your 30 minutes, and then you can go ahead and start installing panels.
Yes, so it's fully adhered tile. It can also be on like torch downs, but yeah, it's got to be fully adhered, which is why it's mainly Florida.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is going to the tar paper with some staples or some nails in, and away it goes, which does not work.
Yeah, you have to watch out for some TPO. They're just gluing seams, and they'll heat weld where they attach it with the pucks. EPDM rubber roofs are usually fully adhered, so those are good to use on. Like I said, you just got to go for your structural analysis. You got to see what your membrane is attached with to make sure it's fully adhered. Any more questions?
I'm seeing a few asked to go over a few of the initial stuff that you guys went over in the first 5 to 10 minutes when the audio is cutting out.
Okay, we'll go back to some serious stuff real quick. And please, if you have any questions, you can ask as you go or wait till afterwards.
For any further questions regarding Solar Stack for you Florida installers, please reach out to Shane Curtis, your local rep down in Florida.
Nice.
Yeah, Shane's a good guy, usually good at getting back to people. Really usually work with on your ISS down there, Tom Talmadge. Really knowledgeable. We're lucky to get him on about 6 months ago. He's been a good addition to the team. All right, so we'll just go back over our solar route. Which is our solar route rail. We've had that out for quite a while. It's kind of our bread and butter. As you can see here, it's very simple to install, 3 parts and pieces.
Are there specific users of other racking systems and that we can maybe address stuff that way?
I know there's definitely some non-Unirac users on this call as to which system they use. It's all over the place.
Okay. So we're going to go with what we attach our rail to. This is our Flash Kit Pro, which is a flash system. Everything comes in packs of 10 flashings, 10 LP, 10 lag, 10 T-bolts. I'm going to show you a product right here that's really taken off. And this is one thing I really got excited about being in solar for such a long time. It was nice, but you don't know. Popping shingles in the winter, popping shingles in the summer. It's a pain in the butt. You tear shingles. It looks bad. So if you're tired of doing that, this is going to get you over to Unirac. This is our flash lock. So you can see this is a flashless system. You're still going to knock and find your rafters. Once you lag this down, you're going to take the flash lock, which is kitted. It comes with 20 flash locks, 20 lags, 20 T-bolts, and 4 tubes of Chemlink. The reason we partner with Chemlink is the best stuff in the industry. The viscosity stays in there. When we did all our testing, we lagged this down, we did our heat testing, stuff like that, and we pulled it off, and it stays rubbery. So it expands the contraction of the substructure, which is really nice. So once you lag this down, you see this port here on the back. You're going to cut the tip of your Chemlink and barely stick the tip in. And you see this cavity on the bottom side right here. And when that's lagged down and you're filling this cavity, the reason you only stick the tip in is if you stick the nozzle down too far in there, it's going to spread out and then it's not going to fill the cavity properly. So when you're filling this cavity, we have 2 weep holes on the side. And when there's 2 weep holes, when the Chemlink starts to come out that, you know the cavity's filled. You're not going to get any degradation from water or anything like that. And this is totally sealed. A lot of people try to knock this product, but we actually have a video on YouTube where we installed this product. We sat it in a bucket of water for 3 days with red dye, and we had no drips at all. Once this seals and once that starts to rubberize, it's not going to leak. And as you can see here, we took this, we attached it, and then we filled it. And so once that cavity fills, it looks just like that on your roof, and you stick to your roof. And you can see that cavity's totally filled. No water's going to get in there. It's not going to degrade, and it's going to fill on your roof for the life of the system with no issues and no problems. I really like that product. Here we're going to kind of go through our key-box stuff. So we have our conduit key-box mount, which is nice because you can attach it to an L foot on this side, or you can attach it to your rail. If that's attached to your rail, you attach the box, and it's going to just flip right over. I guess you can't really see it real quick, but you're just going to flip right over the top of your rail. It'll look like that. And if it sits on there, flip on your panel, it won't be in the sun. And it's nice because you don't have to use it toolless. It sits right on there. This is our conduit mount. For people that didn't see it before. So this conduit mount you can attach anywhere. You just kind of sit under your system or outside your system. It's toolless as well. It's a 3/4 conduit up to 1 inch. It just snaps right on. And it's nice about that because you won't get your rattling on there. It fits nice and tight on there. So that's the 1 inch. If you want to pick it down to 3/4 inch, you just push it down right there. If you need to take it back off, get a flathead screwdriver, pop that off, and it comes right off very easily. Easy to attach.
You can also attach that to the rail to kind of run the conduit on the rail instead of just like up there.
Yeah, so this hole right here, it would look like with the T-bolt through it. It would actually look just like that when we're attached. So if you have a short run, if you want to go down all the way run, you can run into like a shoulder deck running like that. You could you run it, and then it's going to hold it nice and tight. So I'll go through our wire tray. So that's about this. It's a 25-year UV-rated plastic. It's going to sit under your panels, so you know it's going to last. What's nice, because I know when I used to install using zip ties, they seem faster, but then you have to fold over your wires, which is cause degradation in wire. And they're going to pop loose. So I don't care what they say, if it's 25-year roof, because you have the expansive contraction. In 2 to 5 years, it's going to pop. You're going to have wires all over your roof and become more of a pain. So these snap right into your rail, as you can see here. Like just a little more, but up close. Can you get kind of zoom in on this or get closer? No. Just pop these in your rail. You put an inverter on, and this tucks. And we've had companies switch to this that were having problems with zip ties and failing in wire inspection. It tucks in, and because this snaps onto your back to your wire, it'll always stay off your roof. And it's going to be like that for the life of your system. It's nice, very clean. The people that we've had switch to this are no longer failing inspections for wire hanging, which is going to cost you money because if you have to go back with the truck roll, the hours, it's going to man hours it's going to take to fix that. Right. So this looks nice and clean.
You also, if you ever have to go back to the house to do some O&M because an inverter has problems or something like that, with zip ties or something else, you have to rip them all off and you end up throwing a bunch away. This, you pull the wire out, you do your thing, you replace the optimizer, the inverter, whatever, you put it right back down, and away you go, right? It saves all that extra labor.
It comes right in and out. So, you pull these wires out, chuck them just right back in, you see they don't pop back out on you. They're not going to fight you. The one big thing with wire management especially is you don't want to pull on your connections too much because it's going to cause degradation. Like you don't want to have more than a golf ball, basically, wire coming back over. If you do that, it's going to stress your connections and you're going to have failures. So it's really nice because you're not going to have those failures in the long run. So the inverter or whatever you're using, it's going to last a lot longer. Any questions on those?
For us who can't put our physical hands on the product, what is that made out of that channel there?
This is like a polycarbonate plastic or something like that. We can get you the info on those so you get the exact specifics. And it's just to hold up really well. I'll be honest, after installing, I'll be a fan of zip ties, like wire clip, stuff like that. But then the problems you're going to have with them busting loose, or just looks horrible. I mean, you have to braid your wire, stuff like that. It's just it causes stress on your connections. And to be honest, when you're installing, how many people when you're installing in the neighborhood stop by to look at the install, and if they see wires hanging, if it looks ugly, it's going to turn them off to solar. So something like this is going to keep everything off the roof, make it real nice, and it's just going to help sell more solar.
Yeah. It also comes 39 inches long, right? So it matches your module width. So there is no cutting of this unless you have something really wacky going on, like mixed portrait landscape on a single run. So that just snaps right on there. And then the gaps in the holders is where the optimizer or the inverter goes, right? And that's what you see there is you put the tray down, you put the inverters down, and then you throw the wires in, right? So for a rail install, it's still that same process of rail, wire management, then throw panels and put stuff down.
But one neat trick I learned on this is because normally when you're marking out for your inverters, you have to mark the right between the panels all the way down. You just mark the first inverter, you pop those down between it, and it acts as a nice spacer. So that way it's going to save you time on the roof too. Not only for wire management in the long run, but for just measuring that out. So you pop this down, you know your inverters can go at the end of that, so on and so forth. It's a neat trick to help you speed up your install.
How many wires can you tuck in there?
Well, you could tuck two of these, or you could tuck the full bundle. I mean, it takes a lot. I mean, you see that right here, it stretches quite a bit, and because of the way it's designed, it always pushes back towards you, so that way they don't try to pop back on you.
Okay, you want to try to hold the wire next to it?
Very much. So if you see here, I'm going to pull this out. Here's a trunk cable. You know, compared to this, can you see it clearly?
Yep, yeah, that's end phase trunk cable, which is pretty decent gauge.
Yeah, it's pretty stout. So you could fit almost like 3 wires in there. I mean, I don't think you'd have that much going back and forth on the roof. I haven't seen that. But I mean, just to be clear, you could fit a lot in there. And because like even if you're going to pull out on this side, you know, it's always going to pitch back in, so your wires aren't going to pop out on you. Any questions on that one?
And then the way you put it in is you fold it in half and then shove it in.
Yeah, so if you just make like kind of like a little golf ball size loop and push it in there, you see it holds it right, you know. I mean, you could, oh, that was a good one. It came out, but it pinches in there pretty good.
Show SFM now for a little bit.
You want to go back over the SFM?
Yep.
All right. This is one of the products that's taken off. I'll be honest, when I came on Unirac after using rail, and I thought that the concept of railless, I didn't really like it so much until I got a chance to work with it. And just the speed and the fact that what you see here, you can do a total install with, you can pack stuff in the trunk of your car. If you pull the back seat down, you fit the trim rail in, just 66 inches. It's really nice to work with. Like I said, your SKUs aren't that much for what you're going to use. You have your trim rail attachment, which your trim sits on, and the total adjustability of this system is wonderful because this front piece is on a 3-inch slider, so you get that north-south adjustability. And the system was designed so you don't have to cut shingles anymore, which is really nice because you have to cut shingles because we all know if you've worked on a roof, the shingle lines aren't straight. So you have all that adjustability. 3 inches on your front row for the trim rail. This is a 6-inch slider, which is going to sit on all your attachments behind your trim rail. This gives you 6 inches of north-south adjustability. And as you see here, this is our micro rail. It clicks on. I'll show you. Just like this. It clicks on. It's going to slide once you rock your panel down. This is going to the back of the panel. And as you see here, once you get on the back of the panel, you just click it down. You're going to take your 1/4-inch hex head bit, which is actually a Unirac product. You're going to zip this down. As soon as you hear a click, it tights. It has a special coating on there. So once that clicks, it's not going to back out. And you'll click the side thing here, and that'll tighten that. What's nice, this is the clamp capture feature. So once this clamps on here, it opens it up for another panel. And you just add another panel on the back of that. And what's really cool about this system, as you can see here, if you stick your 1/4-inch hex head drive there, because if you have your roof undulations, like if you're using rail, you have to kind of back that out if you didn't string it, to raise everything up and down. With this system, you stick your 1/4-inch hex head drive in here, and it'll actually have a helical drive in here. It'll go up and down almost 2 inches. And so at any point you have one of these, if you have a roof undulation or the panels aren't level, you just stick it down, stick your drive down there, and zip it up and down to the height you need. And that's anywhere you have one of these, you can do that. From here, okay, go ahead.
These are flashed, right? Like these aren't deck mounted with butane.
Yeah. So no. So these, this is still a flash system. But here in a few months, we are going to incorporate our flash lock into the system, so that way you won't have to flash that as well. we're going through our testing and stuff. We need to actually launch that product that way. And so once this becomes flashless, it's going to even speed the install up with this system. What's nice about this system is I'm going to show you this MLPE mount. So when you're attaching your inverter, it'll slide onto there. It'll attach to the back of your panel. So you're going to do all your wire management with your inverters while you're on the ground. So your ground guy is going to attach all these. So as you're passing your panels up, that panel is already ready to install. So you run your trunk cable. You're going to rock that panel down. You're going to use like a Heiko wire management clip to chuck it under the return flange of the panel. And then as you're setting all these panels go, I mean, that one's totally done. So by the time you get to the end of your system, I mean, this system is ready to go. You don't have to go back and do other work. So it's one really cool thing about this is it's fast. And the faster you get with this, we rarely have people that go back to rail. Parts and pieces. With MLP mount, this is our floating splice, which will bond two panels together. So anywhere you have a panel here and a panel here, so you see these bonding clips. It bonds it east-west. Everything's integrated bonding east-west. I'm going to show you a north-south bonding clip for your north-south run, which is going to alleviate having to use copper. And so this also too, you pop that down, zip these down, and you're ready to go. In here is what I'll show you. Is these are our trim clips, as you can see right here. And so for whatever model size you're using, from 32 up to 40, this will fit this. We have these little grooves, and it actually has like a 40 on there, so that's for your 40 millimeters. So that's the groove you'd attach to. I know you can't really see it too well there, so we can get you the specs on that. And so, which is nice because this makes it a module agnostic. The system used to be module specific, so now it's totally universal for any sort of residential module. Any questions so far? All right, I'm going to go over our north-south bonding. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No questions right now. You're good.
Okay, so this is the north-south bonding clip I was telling you about. So this will fit between. So your module runs going north-south. If you can see here, so this is a 1 inch from here to here. So north-south, you can have a 1 inch gap, which is nice because you'll have the wind escape through there. And this is where these come in handy, because instead of using copper, tapping it to your rail, you're just going to use one of these. You're going to zip that in between the panels, turn it this way, zip this down, and once that enacts, you have these bonding pins on each side. So that's what bonds it north-south, and you just need to stay on one side of your array. You don't need to do it on both sides. Any questions?
Yeah, I see one more question. How does it level?
So that's what I was talking about here.
You're gonna go show them what that is?
So I'm going to show them real quick. So you rock this down, put this panel down like this. You would slide these right onto the back, push that down. I'm going to grab the impact real quick. Okay. Just so I can show you how this is going to go. All right. Now you actually get to see it in action. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good. Once you use that drill, we won't be able to hear you.
Okay, so once you zip these down, that's all you need. You don't need to torque it down too tight. This side, just push it down like that. It clicks. Zip this one down. And this is the coolest part of the system. So for leveling wise, like I said, if you have the undulations, if you're using rail, you'd have to take a panel off, lift that up, get it nice and flat. With this, it has that helical drive. It goes up and down, twitches anywhere you have one of these attachments. You see that okay?
Yeah, that was a pretty good visual.
Yeah, and that's what makes this nice. And so say it's the end of the day, you look back and you have one panel that's out of whack. So instead of having to remove that panel and raise that in your L foot, you just lift that up and down, makes it nice and easy. So at the end of the day, you're not going to be pissed off if it's hot on your roof and you have to take a panel off and you'll never have to do that.
The other good thing about this system is everything's at your feet.
Yeah.
So because it's kind of the rock and lock feature on it, everything Matt installing would do is at your feet. There is no leaning over, reaching up, reaching down, right? So We have heard people say this is the safest install that they have, right? With the structural trim rail up front that you can stand on, you can lean your tools against. If it's a steep pitch, it doesn't matter. And then with everything at your feet, that is a huge kind of benefit that doesn't come through in the product, but comes through in the actual install and how it all goes together.
Yeah, because you're always going to look from your roof edge up the roof. Like I said, with the wire metric, the way it goes, by the time you get to that last panel, everything's plugged in, everything's ready to go, and you don't have to go back and do anything as far as leveling or anything like that. It's the most versatile system in the market, and because we have that the front piece is structural, everybody else's out there is just for an aesthetic. So you can't step on it. It's not a tool catch. It's I don't know. I mean, not to toot our own horn, but because it's structural, it makes it a lot better and a lot cleaner. Any more questions?
Yeah, I got a dual-headed question here. Okay. For that front trim rail, one, and I think you just answered this, it is structural, right? And yes, two, yes, it is universal, meaning it'll fit any panel.
Yep, any residential size panel. I mean, so that's 32 to 40. So that covers about 85% of your panels. I've never seen any.
I mean, part of the beauty of the logistics of this is that you have the potential to put a week's worth of installs in a truck, right? You don't have to go back to get anything. Everything's there, right? And you just potentially have somebody running panels, and then the crews just go straight to the job site with these small boxes of stuff that's ready to roll, right?
And what's cool? One cool thing about besides your lags, if you have an impact where you can set the torque on it, you can get it down to your 10 or even 20, and everything else zips down with that. So that way you're not over torquing anything. Nothing's going to strip on you. And like I showed you there, it just takes a quick, and that's all it takes. It doesn't. You don't have to drive it down too much. It's really light, so your tools are actually going to last longer because you're not overstressing them.
Yeah, and just to clarify one more time, the module frames this is compatible with, it's 32 to 40.
Yes.
Does it go down to 30 inches?
No, we're working on that because we're getting more questions about that. So we are working on something like that. So once we figure that out, then we'll be able to cover that. Because we are starting to see more and more 30 millimeter.
Yep, I just said 30 inches. I meant millimeters. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That'd be a big panel. Good for snow loads. Good for snow loads. Any more questions?
That might be all of them for right now. Anything else you guys want to show us while you're out there?
I think we've covered everything in this.
Yeah, I mean, we talked RM, we talked solar mount SFM, GFT. It was hectic and fun, but yeah, you'll remember us.